Joe Club Time here, and I'm still not fully done with Case S. And yet we are finally in Case T as we enter June with a lot of anticipation with the new 2025 card, of which I did mention in the last few videos already, and the upcoming Race and Rescue and Rally Race 200 expanded universe lines. But for now, let's focus on the actual mainline stuff first. Because this is one of the highlights from KST. It is none other than Grem, one of the main lemons from Cars 2. Wow. For 2 years, we had guessed on who was going to be the first AMC Gremlin to be released from Taiwan. Was it gonna be Grem? Was it gonna be J. Kirby Gremlin, Stephen Dempsey, Jerome Rand, or is it Grem? And that is exactly what we got. It was Grem. So Greebles was the first AMC Gremlin that Taiwan did, but that was back in 2023. So it's taken Mattel over 2 years to make a Grem, or an AMC Gremlin character in general from Taiwan. Now that we have Grem, we can no longer speculate on what it's gonna look like. So in the very last case, Case S, we got Acer, who was the first AMC Pacer-based character to be released from Taiwan since Tubbs Pacer back in 2022. So that's pretty hype. And the same will go for Grem and all the AMC Gremlin-based characters in general. So yeah, anyways, this is our first look at a Taiwan Grem from his debut Case T. He will also be returning in W. That's the case with some of the big releases from the Race and Rescue subline. So that should be hype. But yeah, here's Grem. First time in all these three aspects. On Red Riders from Taiwan, and on Streamline Booster plastic shell. So this is gonna be an exciting one. And look how tiny. Yeah, they should be in the same. Yeah, they're pretty similar. Yes, I believe they are on the same platform that other GM-based products ride on, or not GM, Chrysler, I think. Yeah, Chrysler. So that's exciting. So yeah, unfortunately, I do not have the original Chinese Grem in my hands right now, but this is what he looks like. So you got your usual stuff on the bottom. That's the particle out there. And on the back, we finally have the three assembles, the three lemons from Cars 2. The way I said it was pretty weird, but yeah, Otis, Acer, and now we have Grem. That's exciting. Also, we are now in year territory. This is the 5th week of 2025. So we're now towards the halfway point of 2025. So this is exciting stuff, because next year will mark the 20th year of Cars as in the franchise in general. So this is a really exciting. So this will be an exciting year for Cars fans, I hope. So yeah, that's the only stuff from Cars 2 that released in 2025 so far. Which I hope there's gonna be some more Cars 2 love eventually down the road. But yeah, speaking of Cars 2, let's open Grem for the first time in 14 years. Yeah, it's really easy to open as expected. Oh wait, here is Grem. Really exciting to be holding Grem again. Wow, this is really cool. But yeah, let's not get carried away too much. Let's get to the front of Grem. So you got your X badge on the grill, which usually will be the AMC logo right here. Yeah, yes, the X on almost every model except for these two, so it's kind of fun. So you got your two turn signals if you're American, or indicators if you're in the Commonwealth. On a 4 mesh grill, you got your circular headlights on a 3 mesh. On a 3 mesh housing, you got your really whimsy expression. Gremlin on the hood, on the two air scoops. Let's take a quick look at the eyes. The eyes look pretty solid for Taiwan. On a black overlay, and on the side you got your AMC Gremlin stripe with a lot of grit on the just below the plastic cladding. Oof. And on the stripe you got Gremlin, and then the X right beside it. And it continues all the way up to the Gremlin, Gremlin badge on up here. Very 70s stripe here. And you can see all the grit on the cladding. You got your rims, which although as not as nice as the Chinese version, look pretty solid. You got your indicators, which are I think are blown out. Yeah, these are kind of definitely blown out by the amount of work they have done. And on the back, this is where it starts to differ from the Chinese version a lot. Because I don't remember if I have the shot of the Chinese Grem in reverse in the back, but I'll show it on screen so you can see the difference. So this is the Taiwan version. This is the Chinese version. So as you can see, the Taiwan version is really flat. It's all just decals. The tail lights, the badge, and everything are all one piece. And his license plate does read Rect. Once again, I don't know which state he is from technically, because this is a Taiwan car after all, and I can't really read the text right on the plate. You can just make out the AMC logo in the back, the badge in the back. That's the general AMC badge they've used for up until they went bankrupt. That's their engine type. Windows are a separate piece, thank God, like Acer. And the right side should be the same. The right side is the same as the left. So as for the plastic detailing, they're not as good as the Chinese version is, but that should do the job. A pretty decent one at that. And also, I did forget to mention this. I bought Grem and the other two that I'm gonna review today. I got them from the very same store I got Candy and Christina Whelan from, which I'll explain on the very next review here on the channel, so stay tuned for that. So anyways, let's get to the roof. You have the four mesh edges on the roof, covered up by the roof rack. And here's the base. Wow, really nostalgic seeing the base. U03A, third week of 2025 at the A factory once again. And that's, you can kind of make out the product code JDL77 and Gremlin. I think Chrysler or Stellantis rather. Stellantis owns the copyright to the AMC brand, and you can just make out the Gremlin copyright. You can, yeah. Oh no, it just says Grem. I thought it just said Gremlin, but never mind. It just said Grem, as if he was the car. So yep, that is my review of Taiwan Grem. I think this overall is kind of a 50-50 between the Chinese version and this. But overall, for me, this is a really good representation of what an AMC Gremlin would look like from Taiwan. And I'm really happy that Mattel has re-released Grem, because my Grem from 2011 has been loved to death. So this is actually a really awesome nostalgia revisit to a Cars 2 stuff. Even though I didn't like the movie, and many people didn't, I enjoyed the amount of Cars 2 stuff from over the years. So yeah, anyways, that is Taiwan Grem from 2025. Hang on, before we end this video, let's compare both Grem and Acer from China to see how they stand. Finally, I can do this segment. But first, let's start off with the first one, being Acer. Obviously, the main character for the review. So obviously, he's got a much different shade of green. He's like extremely bright from the Thailand version. As you can see, let's compare the stock image. Not the stock image, the artwork. So Acer right here is a kind of like a papaya, kind of like a, not papaya. What's the guava? Is this like guava? Yeah, like guava green. Whereas the Chinese version looks up more like this, kind of in between yellow, like Fred Fisbowski, and the Taiwan version. And obviously, my Acer has been loved to heck. So making a comparison to the Taiwan version is gonna be a bit difficult. But otherwise, this is how he. But otherwise, he shouldn't be too different from the Taiwan version, I hope. Okay, so let's start off from the front. A lot less detail on the Taiwan version. A less intricate mauve. The eyes have an eyeshadow. The eye on the Chinese version is lower to the point where it touches the trim, but the Taiwan version raised it up. And his left eyebrow is raised up way more than the Chinese version. That's interesting. I didn't know that was even a thing until I saw these side by side for the first time. Wow. So how did the cracks on the eye plate is different. The trim is part of the eyes, whereas the eyes were just the crack. It's just a separate piece. Let's just check the side here. A longer door handle. The key block is detailed. Seems to be bigger too. The side mirror, how they molded the side mirror is exactly the same-ish. Not quite. It looks like a new bold. Let's check the front bumper real quick. Front bumper is also a mouth plate. It's like the old Chinese version, but how they did the tires is different. It's very different from the Chinese version. So as you can see, the Chinese version resembles the actual AMC Pacer. If the camera will focus. Yeah, the Chinese version really did capture the tires very well. More dirt here. Let's no, less detailed dirt. Whereas the Taiwan version is just like one segment, it's just like one flat tire. The Roadhog tire detail here is a lot more visible here than the Chinese version, I think. Yeah, I can't really tell. Let's see. Let's see if I'm close. Yeah, you can see. This is the Chinese version in comparison. Can't really see clearly, but yeah, they should be the exact same. The black trim here is longer or larger than the Chinese version. Check the back. These two side by side. Yeah, not too different from the Chinese version. Besides the license plate being blurry, key fob is exactly the same. How they mold the rear window is different. So you can see that's the segment for the windows. Whereas you can't see it on the Chinese version. There's like a little tiny crack there. I think, yeah, this is how it came. A lot cleaner here on the Taiwan version. And let's check this side, the right side here. Yeah, it's the same as the left, but way less of dirt or rust than the Chinese version. And let's check out Grem. I'm really excited for Grem. Right, so here they are side by side, and you can tell immediately the eye plate. Yeah, how they did the eye plates are the same as China's. That's surprising because Acer's how Taiwan molded the Acer did the eyes for Acer. They made the trim die cast, but left the eye separate. Actually, no. I'm sorry. The trim is part of the body. Eye is a separate piece. Both trim and eye are a separate piece from China. Whereas Grem, both trim and eyes are also segmented. So great news. Anyways, let's check the front. Zoom just a bit. Oh shoot. Okay. So as you can see at the front, larger indicators and a more visible X. Mouth is a bit more exaggerated than the Chinese version. I think he's got clear headlights. I don't think these are clear. No, these are paint still. No, paint. I think these are paint. Yeah, they're both paint. Okay, let's see from the hood. Okay, I can't really tell. Yeah. The Gremlin badge is a lot larger on the hood bulge than the Chinese version. Let's see the eyes side by side. They should be relatively the same. Not quite actually. Taiwan's right eyebrow is more a bit lower than the Chinese version, but besides that, it matches the Chinese version. Check side here. how China did their rust is very different. As you can see, this is more like actual rust and not dirt. Yeah, this is, the China made dirt look like like no. China made their rust look like dirt, like weathered dirt. Just so I like the Chinese version or the Taiwan version way more in terms of dirt rust detailing. The sucker is the exact the trim decal here is the exact same. The root rack on the Taiwan version is a lot cheaper compared to the Chinese version. So the bumpers, mirrors, and yeah, that's it. Let's check out the back. And as you can tell, the Taiwan version also has a bulge for the window, for the rear window, whereas you can't really see it on the Chinese version. And as we look more on the rear bumper, it seems like the Taiwan version is a lot brighter, so you can see more of the detailing. At the cost of like, I don't know, the quality, I guess. Take a look at the Taiwan version again. I don't think you can tell from the camera, but okay, here is another look. Yeah, and there's some quality issues here on the Taiwan version. Let's check out the Chinese version. What that was. Okay, my Chinese version isn't that better. But I believe it says S line. That's the badge, I think. AMC. Rect. Let me zoom out real quick. I think you read some S line something? I can't really tell. But here's the Taiwan version again, and yeah. Yes. S 5.0. No, it's 5.0 liters. I just can't tell what that is on the. Oh, 5.0 liter V8. Yeah, that's right. So Grem is based off the highest trim possible for the Grem win. Yeah, we're still in the exact same sense as the Waft. Okay, so the rear fender indicator is one piece, whereas there are two on the Chinese version. Nice. Inside the four-way bulge in the front here is, yeah, shorter on the Chinese version, a lot longer on the Taiwan one. And let's check the roof. There is a little. Yeah, my Chinese version does not have the extra bar anymore. My Taiwan version does, because this is a newish product. Thank goodness. So the bolts right here, they're not symmetric, as you can tell. Like, yeah, it's not even symmetric. But let's check their bases. Larger tires meant they had to shorten the entire chassis. All in all, it's like 85-90% identical to the Chinese version. Oh yeah, check out Aces real quick. And yeah, same issue. They had to compromise the chassis to do bigger tires. But and a bigger exhaust too. What is bigger exhaust on the on Acer too. Yeah. Yeah. Yep, should be almost identical to each other, but it's side by side, and I cannot believe that these two look very different from each other. Also, yeah, before we hop off this segment, let's check out the colors real quick. So the Chinese version has a lot brighter orange than the artwork. I think the Thailand version does match it a little bit more, but he still looks a lot more orangey than what we had seen. We saw him in the movie, but all in all, well, that's not an all in all reference. Right. Totally not. But all in all, they look pretty different from each other. But yeah, as you can see, they look very different from each other. 14 years later. So yeah, what country of production versions of Acer and Grem do you prefer? Do you prefer the Chinese version, or do you prefer the new for 2025 Thailand versions? Let me know in the comment section. But that has been my review of Grem and Acer